Hello again, and welcome back to another episode of Adventures in Book Hunting. Um, I am here at the Hatter Bookshop in Princeton, West Virginia, um, shooting this Wednesday evening. We kind of have a tradition here. Uh, Typically on Wednesdays, we have a gaming group that meets, and before that gaming group convenes, I generally share all the books I've hunted that are being donated to the store over the last week. Um, we're having a series of Wednesdays that are getting interrupted for gaming. If I'm not mistaken, this is like at least the second in a row, maybe the third. But in any event, I've got about 2 weeks worth of book hunting that I want to share, and there's some really good quality stuff, I think anyway. And it, I went over this because it has been over the last 2 weeks, but I don't think I've spent more than $5 for everything I'm going to show you today. And in fact, there's some other stuff that I picked up over the last 2 weeks that I kept for myself or went to somebody else. So there was even more than this. But just, keep that in mind. $5 shows that book collecting and book hunting doesn't have to be an expensive hobby, and you can find some really cool stuff if you know where to look. All right, first off, review of a lesson I've gone over a couple of times, and that is a lot of book hunting is about building relationships. And the next three books I'm going to show you are absolutely free books I got because a friend alerted me that the local library had gotten a donation of some interesting stuff. Come on over and take a look. And this was stuff that they couldn't use for whatever reason, so it was going to be free to the public. And as a member of the public, I snatched a few. First of all, the Beatles biography by Bob Spitz. Uh, Big old chunk of a paperback. It's got a little bit of a bend in it. Tried to flatten it over the last few days, but I think with a little extra weight, we can probably do that. But that was one thing. This was also part of that particular book hunt. The centennial edition of The Wizard of Oz, and it's annotated. You've got all the illustrations, all the original illustrations from the very first edition. These neat background drawings. Plus, if you can see over here, you have footnotes where they kind of explain the background of the book, why certain things were in it. Really cool. If you're a fan at all of The Wizard of Oz, you'll want this. And the next one from that that collection that once again completely free. Um, this collection of short stories by Edgar Allan Poe, including The Gold Bug, and Other Tales of Mystery. Really cool. Now let's see, what else do we have? All right. The next few are some that I've had for a little while. Okay, but this one is, I thought, kind of interesting. The cover sold me. It's the first in a series of novels about vampires. The interesting thing was, the Rage of the Vulture, but these are vampire stories. Um, the thing that got me though is the author Barry Unsworth, who I'd not heard of, apparently won a Booker Prize. So that's some pretty highfalutin horror that I got there. Um, this next one is like a middle grade graphic novel. The Bad Guy, allegedly now a major motion picture from DreamWorks. I wonder if that ever happened. I did not check. But yeah, as you can see. And, if I can get these, particularly free, with with pretty good condition, I'm going to pick them up. Okay. This one, I do not remember how I got it, but I know I didn't pay for it. Uh, oh, I do remember how I got this. This was in a little free library in the Christiansburg, Virginia area. Work took me on a tour of Montgomery County about a week ago. This was one of the ones I found. It's one of the Star Wars origami books. This one's for Yoda. All right. And likewise, uh, collection of the works of John Milton. I don't think this has anything in it. Let's check. Anything in it from Paradise Lost? Oh, no, it does. In fact, looking at the table of contents, it might have Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained. Uh, I have a very nice copy of Paradise Lost, so I'm donating this one. Let's see. Okay, this one is a trade. Um, this is Undaunted Courage by Stephen Ambrose. It's the story of the Lewis and Clark expedition. As you can see, in really good shape. I got the same book uh, in a little free library. Where was it? If I'm not mistaken, it was somewhere in Raleigh County, West Virginia. But this is the one I already had. This one was in better shape than the one I found, and so I downgraded to donate this one to the store. Um, Stephen Ambrose is also famous for writing Band of Brothers, basis of the HBO miniseries. Very good writer. I recommend Stephen Ambrose. Very readable prose, narrative history. Good stuff. Okay, this one was interesting. Gonna have to check with Rebecca about this one. I would imagine she'll want it because it's local stuff. Maroon and White, a memoir of playing on the Bluefield Beavers football team. Um, Bluefield High School is, of course, one of now 4 high schools in the county, and for decades they lost their football program. But this is apparently a memoir of one of the players back in the day when that was a very active program. Don't know anything about it other than that, and it has all the looks of being self-published. But because it's local, I thought, well, perhaps the store would want it. Once again, got to ask the owner if that is actually the case. Okay. All right. All right, here we go. Okay. Uh, these two were on a local Baptist university's giveaway shelf in their library. First, Bookshop of the Brokenhearted, about the struggle to open a bookstore in rural Australia. Because it's bookstore themed, I figured, well, I'll snag it. And once again, it was free. In the same spot, I found this very nice modern library copy of the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I really like that cover illustration. And there's the emblem for Modern Library. In my book hoarding days, or book dragonish days, this would not have come in. But I've already got a pretty good edition of the Meditations, so it's a donate. Oh, and this one came off my own shelf, just laying around. I realized I had 2 very serviceable translations of Beowulf, and this is an old Porter's edition. So I said, I don't need to. This is a very nice one. It's deckled edges, French flaps, nice flop to it. But no, for the store's classics section. All right. These, let's see, where did these come from? I'm thinking this was the giveaway box of, or no, it was in the trade section of, I believe the Summers County Library. The Dragon Reborn, of course, one of the, let's see, book 3 of the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. subject of a short, well, I don't think it ran too long. I don't think they're doing it anymore, but the Prime Video series, Wheel of Time, um, my humble opinion, they messed it up so much they couldn't go on. Just my opinion. Let's see. And Leanne or Liane Moriarty, Nine Perfect Strangers. Um, this one was one I got in a little free library. Yes, here in Princeton. Let me ponder here for a second. I know of at least 10, maybe 12 little free libraries in the local county. This was from that one. And once again, it's got the permanent sticker, part of the cover. Apparently coming soon as a series on Hulu. Anybody know if that actually happened? Um, Not all that familiar with, well, in passing, I'm familiar with the author. She wrote Big Little Lies. It was a very popular book. Anyway, let's see, what else did she write? But Alice Forgot, The Last Anniversary, The Hypnotist Love Story, and Three Wishes. That had to come here. All right. All right. Whenever I see these, I snag them, especially if it's in a little free library in the Christiansburg area where I was traipsing around. Pretty nice copy of the second book in the series, The Reptile Room. Nice hardcover. In pretty good shape. Nobody's marked up the Ex Libris plate or any of that. Very popular books, and who knows, might wind up on the staff favorites shelf. Let's see. All right. All right. Okay. Do these first. Got two of the Ender Wiggin books by Orson Scott Card. Xenocide, which I think is either the third or the fourth book in the series. I have only read the first two, Ender's War, or Ender's Game, and Speaker for the Dead. Yeah, Ender's War is the compilation that has those two books in it. That's how I read it. It was a book club edition. In any event, and this is another book a little farther along in the series. In fact, this one says it's the conclusion to the Ender Quartet. So these are probably the third and fourth books in the series. And it's my understanding, Store has a customer who's on the lookout for these in mass market. And these are in real nice shape. So I snagged them. Pretty sure I paid like 50 cents a piece for these at a library sale. Okay. The other one I have here, once again, to be absolutely honest with you, I don't remember how I got this one. I discovered this one on my bookshelf where I keep books that I'm going to donate. It is Beauty by Robin McKinley, a retelling of the story of Beauty and the Beast. I think I intended to bring this in a long time ago, and it got shoved into an obscure corner on my bookshelf. So, like I said, can't honestly say how much I paid for it, but by this point in time, it's pretty much free to me. Now, right, I can go. Okay, I remember I got these. Let's see. Yes, it was kind of a, well, at least the start of a Beatles theme to this book haul. Nowhere Man, a biography of the final years of John Lennon's life. My second Beatles book for the haul. This came from Concord University. And they have excess donated books. They generally put them at the circulation desk. I try not to be too greedy with these, but I got this one and I kept another one. Yeah, absolutely free. And if you happen to find yourself in Athens, West Virginia, it's a good place to hunt. And this came from the library, but this wasn't on the circulation desk. This was actually on the free table. I've gotten some really neat stuff on that Concord University free table over the years. Um, World War II fiction, historical fiction, but as you can see, deckled edges and French flaps, and I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. It's just a beautiful cover. Have to admit, a lot of what I snag is stuff that I get because I like the cover. All right. I think we are starting to get into the really, really good stuff. All right. Let's see how I'm going to do this. Okay. These next books I got in a little free library in the Athens area. All right. I'm going to get all these out. Show them to you in a stack. Uh, like I say, these were in a little free library in Athens that I've gotten stuff from every once in a great while, but never anything like this. In fact, I've done so much little free library trade. I need to get some more trade books. But we've got the entire Seraphina series by Robert Beatty. In beautiful, really good condition. Um, but yeah, I think all four here. I think there's only four. But yeah, these were just beautiful. All right, put these out of the way. And that same little free library at the same time, I also found this nice trade paperback movie edition of The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Also in just excellent shape. Beautiful book. And last thing I found in that little free library was this Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. Once again, completely free. Wow. Free with trade. I try to be an ethical book hunter, and so taking that stack just about wiped me out of the good stuff in my book box. Now, before I found those, I had found this. I'm not sure where this falls in the series, but it's included in those four books I just showed you. Seraphina and the Splintered Heart, middle grade fantasy, from Disney Hyperion. I assume there's a good market for this. I'm sure it's fairly popular. But anyway, this came from a little free library, actually in Bluefield. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Oh, I left one out. The little free library in Athens that had all the Seraphina, the set of Seraphina books and The Hobbit and the Mockingjay. Also had this, The Host by Stephenie Meyer, who is, of course, most famous for the Twilight series, the vampire stories. This is, of course, a movie tie-in or a series tie-in. But yeah, it's, brick of a book, but it's in great shape. It was kind of stunning. Like I say, I felt well. And here's the thing about little free libraries. Um, I've gotten good stuff in many of them. Most of the time, they're duds. And uh, in my own opinion, usually when I'm trading for a little free library, I try and put back more books than I got out. But with a haul like this, I, I'm not given equivalent value, so I tend to try and replace with at least twice as many books as I took out. Like I say, they're decent books, but they're not like great books like these. All right. Let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. These were also little free library finds. Captain Underpants and one of the volumes from the Dork Diary series. So both of these staying with the Hatter. Once again, what was free. In fact, now I'm thinking about it, I think a lot of the books that I actually paid money for, I'm keeping. Some of these I know I paid for. Here and there, I'm spotting ones that I did get that way. Um, like one of the, I spent $1 at a library over in Tazewell County, Virginia, and I'm pretty sure I kept all the books out of that one. So, but still, just $5 for 2 weeks of hunting. And normally I give myself a budget of about $20 a week. So I'm way under budget for this cycle. All right. All right. Now, bear with me for 1 second because everything that's in here there's left in this box is they're all interrelated. Found them in another Princeton Little Free Library, and then golly, it was shocking that I found these. And I found some good stuff in Little Free Libraries. I found a deluxe edition of the entire Song of Ice and Fire by George R. Martin. Well, that's probably been going on 3 years ago, but beautiful, like faux leather bindings and in a nice box. I found all of the Dune series, and I mean the real Dune series, the 6 books written by Frank Herbert. Found those in a Little Free Library. But this is ranked right up there as far as finds from Little Free Libraries. Okay. Ooh, let's not be crazy here. Let's pull these out a few at a time, because there's a lot of them. Let's see, looking down, counting. 9 books. 9 books. Oh gosh. All right, they're all Dave Pilkey. 8 books from the Dogman series, and in here is one of the Captain Underpants books, different one than I got. Now, the thing about these is these all appear to be brand new. See? Completely white. Let me turn them here. Like I'm shown, at least two-fistedly. Just beautiful books in absolutely pristine condition. Um, and I checked the shelves. They don't have any Dogman books currently in stock, but they will now. Anyway, uh, because the only person who's going to be here to see these in person is the owner, I thought, well, I'll make a little video for my friends who couldn't be here this evening as well. I thought, goodness, $5 of book hunting and getting all this. I got to share this with the world. Uh, but with that, um, well, aside from the lesson up front, building relationships, don't discount Little Free Libraries. There are at least 7 Little Free Libraries scattered across 2 states that contributed to this hunt. And most of the time, it's not the best place to find really good stuff. But this was certainly an exception, and in multiple locations too. Just real surprising. But with that, I will say goodbye. Be safe, and I hope you have as good a book hunting as I've had these last 2 weeks.